We have joining us the Commissioner for Wealth Creation in Yobe State, Mr. Abdullahi Bego. He joins us from our Abuja studios. Welcome to News Across Nigeria, Mr. Bego.
Thanks so much for having me.
Now, as the name of your ministry suggests, you are in charge of creating empowerment interventions for the people of Yobe State after Boko Haram. Is there a seed fund provided by the government that you're working with? And what strategy have you put in place to actualize your objectives?
Well, yeah, the new ministry established just 2 months ago speaks to the commitment of His Excellency Governor Maimala Buni to take a new measure, move the state in a new direction as we recover and rebuild from the ravages of the 10-year-old Boko Haram insurgency. And so in the 2022 budget, billions of naira have been allocated for the new ministry to undertake empowerment programs. And this is a ministry that will have youth at the front and center of its activities. But it's a ministry that is designed for the entire people of Yobe State, young and old, boys and girls, men and women. We will work to ensure that small businesses have the support they need to grow, that startups can generate employment and the kind of support that they will be able to use to achieve that, and also to scale up businesses that are already existing. So that across the board we have people engaged in meaningful economic activity, so that people have the support that they need to grow and to prosper.
Is your ministry partnering with other ministries to achieve this target, like the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs? If not, what form is this partnership taking?
Well, our ministry will adopt an all-hands-on-deck approach to ensuring that we achieve the objectives for which it was set up. And so the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management is one of the partners who will be engaging at the state level, but also at the federal national levels. We will engage both governmental and non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, international organizations. All of these will seek to work together to ensure that we have the support that will help us achieve the mandate for which the ministry is established in the state. For example, part of what we intend to do is to ensure that the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, which is a federal government agency, SMEDAN, that we work with that agency closely, and that we have templates for how we can go about intervening in entrepreneurial development. So across the board, we will interact, interoperate with governmental and non-governmental agencies to ensure that we achieve the objectives for which we are set up.
Speaking of which, Commissioner Bego, what sort of feedback mechanism do you have put in place? Because from that report that played shortly before you arrived, some people say, oh, we need a market. Some people say we're not able to access some of these intervention funds that the government has made available. So what approach have you to get from the people what they need and how to provide the necessary structure and finances in place, for them to start up or grow their already existing businesses?
Well, we basically have a two-track process. One that relies on online resources. We'll have an active website where people will engage with the ministry and by extension the Yobe State government about what we are doing, about what people need to get from the government going forward. And also we intend to interact with people at the community level. from the ward level through to the local government level. We have community leaders, we have civil society organizations, NGOs, etc., that are operating in those communities. This will be part of the feedback mechanism that we will use to ensure that we hear from the people and that people get to hear from us about what we are doing on their behalf.
You talked about online approach. Has this approach taken into consideration the education levels of the people such that they can use these tools to be eligible to access your intervention?
Absolutely. We have an army of young graduates and school leavers who are looking not just to get government jobs, but to get access to opportunities that will have them stand on their feet and become useful to themselves and their families and the community and society. These are people that we can engage through our website and through other online resources that are available that we intend to use. For people who will not have access to those kind of services or those resources, we intend to rely on the community approach, where we interact directly with people on an interpersonal basis, so that we can hear from them.
Okay, so lastly, what are your expected outcomes, and have you given yourself a timeline within which you would see these outcomes?
Well, this is a government ministry that is established for the long term, but our target for 2022 is to ensure that we have new startups in Yobe, in the tech sector, in service, in the service industry, across the board. We want to have new startups, young guys, male and females, setting up new companies, setting up new businesses that they can do with the support of the Yobe State government. His Excellency Governor Malabuni is keen, very, very keen to ensure that this ministry succeeds. And we have the assurances of his support for all the resources that we need, all the materials and equipment that we need to empower these young people. So our target is to have new startups, as many as we can for 2022, and also to scale up existing businesses so that over time, Yobe will have a new story. We have had 10 years of Boko Haram in our back. We're working to paint over that chapter. And so hopefully in the next year and in the years to come, it will be a different story in Yobe by the grace of God.
And you have our best wishes as you begin to put programs in place to help the people of Yobe State. Commissioner Abdullah Bego, Commissioner for Wealth Creation in Yobe State, thank you for your time and thoughts on News Across Nigeria.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciation.